Hey guys, it is Carl Brown from Guitarlessons365.com. I have got a fantastic song today. We're going to do my first Gojira lesson. Now, I actually don't listen to a lot of modern metal. I just don't. I don't know why. Just kind of stick with my old Steve Vai and Sigur Rós and all that stuff. But my brother last night, he's like, why don't you listen to Gojira? They've been one of his favorite bands for years, and I'm like, I just never got around to it, I guess. And so he just pulled it up on YouTube, this specific song, them playing it live, and I thought it was one of the greatest things I've ever heard. So it's probably going to be my new favorite metal band. Who knows? There'll probably be a bunch of Gojira songs now. So I have woken up to the fact that this is one amazing band. So I got up this morning and I'm like, I'm going to figure this song out and do this because I need to make up for lost time here. So we're going to learn how to do Silvera today, and it's going to be a blast. I haven't had this much fun transcribing something in a while. So it's got some interesting stuff, so we got our work cut out for us. Now, before I get into it, please subscribe to the channel if you have not already. Ring the notification bell so you notice a new video. You can really like and comment on the lessons and on the videos. It helps YouTube get it out to more people. And if you really like what I do here and you want more tutorials from me, join my online guitar academy. You'll see a link to it in the description below. It contains all of my guitar courses, from complete beginner courses to more advanced courses in technique, improvisation, ear training, theory, and guitar tone. You name it. I'm there live every weekend, which is live streams with Academy members. So you get to ask me questions in real time. You get personalized support from me beyond that as well. So please go check it out. Free 7-day trial by clicking that link below. All right, so let's get into this. Now, I'm in D standard. So I'll have those notes in the description, but that is basically everything tuned down a whole step, whole guitar. So we have the E string becomes a D. The A string becomes a G. The D string becomes a C. F string G string becomes an F. B string becomes an A. And the high E becomes a D. All right, so let's jump into this. So we have Joe and Christian here playing these riffs, and then they're pretty much doing a lot of the same things, riffs throughout it. Christian at one point in I think the chorus, he's using a whammy pedal. I'll talk about that when we get there. But let's look at this main riff, which is also the verse. Look at this. All right, so we're gonna start here. You can play, I think they do it more like that. It's like that. You can do it like finger like that as well too. But what it is just, I'm gonna call it an F here and like an open E power chord because even though we're tuned down a whole step, it's a D power chord now. Most people are used to seeing this as an F power chord, so I'm not gonna confuse you with that. So it's played like an F, let's just say this, so we'll call it an F. So the first fret power chord off the low E string, the F power chord, and then the open E power chord. And then you're gonna heavily palm mute. So that's gonna be 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. So the first two hits are quicker. And then it does the same F to E power chord, but not so quick. So, and then the same little chromatic lick. So far we have this. B. Now, the fourth time of playing that riff, actually, we're still kind of technically in the first time of playing the riff, but the fourth time of going that F to E, instead of doing the chromatic line, we're going to go up here and slide into the 6th fret on the low E string and the 5th fret there on the A and strum. And kind of strum across those a little bit. So we have this for the whole riff. Just repeat that. All right, so from there, still in the intro, after playing that riff all the way through twice, we have this. All right, so that's this. A lot of these riffs are going to reoccur during the chorus sections or the verse. So we're knocking a lot of it out here in the intro. So this is the part where I believe Christian. So they're both, Joe and Christian are both playing the part the same way. But Christian, it looks like you can see this live. When he's playing his part, it sounds an octave higher. It's because he's using a whammy pedal. So you can see him rock the whammy pedal forward and it raises the pitch up an octave. So I believe that's what he's going on. And then when he comes back and does the hit to start it over, he rocks the whammy back so he gets that low note in there. And then comes back, rolls it back again, so it brings the notes up an octave, but he still plays it the same way Joe does. All right, so this is the riff. You have the open E string, low E string, I know it's a D, but then you're gonna tap the 19th fret. And he adds a little vibrato to that note, so you're gonna add vibrato to the note, not necessarily with the note you're tapping with, but as soon as you tap that, you also wanna place the 12th fret here on the low E, behind it. And you can use that to kind of vibrate the string a little bit. So we have this. From there, you're gonna leave that 12th fret there, and you're gonna basically keep pulling off to the 12th. So he does this little melody there, and he's on. So you're always just kind of tapping the melody, then pulling off to that 12 there. So the melody, all you need to know there is 19 is where it starts out, kind of hold that note, pull off, of course, and now we're gonna do that again, but now it's 17. 19, 20, so this. And then back to 19, 20, 22. So far we have this. Then work our way back down to 20, 19, and then back to 20, 19, and 16. So you're always between each one of those notes pulling off to the 12, and that's it. So we start with the open, big open string, and then a little vibrato, hold that note, and then when it ends on that 16. So a little bit slower. And then, so I'm tapping with my middle finger so I can keep that pick ready to keep going out and hitting that open string to start the riff over again. Or you can just do it like that, but it sounds better to pick it. So just repeating that. From there, we get to the first verse, which is the riff that we started the song with. All right, now from there, it sounds like it's really kind of a variation on the verse riff. I kind of call this riff, next riff we go to, the pre-chorus, and then the second verse, the pre-chorus is the verse. So I don't know. You could just keep calling it a verse, but that's how I kind of separate it. Anyway, this one's played a little bit differently. So this is coming out after playing that main riff that we just did 2 times when the vocals come in for the verse. We go into this. kind of leads us to the chorus, so it's kind of treat it as a pre-chorus. So what's going on here? We have a full F major bar chord. So that's just a full bar at the first fret, second fret on the G, third on the D, third on the A string. So with this, you play that and then just move everything down a fret, so you lift up the bar down to a regular E major chord. And then the rhythm is, so that's going to be, so you kind of do 6 hits. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and let that last one ring. So release the muting, and then do it again. So like this. So it's an upstroke that you're kind of ending on there. So you do that twice, that rhythm, and then just 2 beats of straight 16ths. Like just down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up. So with this. Just like that, and then repeat. So we gotta repeat that way completely 3 times. So with this. Now the 4th time, we're going to start with the first 2 chords again. But then, I'm just playing the E power chord there and just going down, up, down, down, up, down, down, up, down, heavily palmated. So it is. All right, then we get to the chorus, which is like the tapping part that we did in the intro, but a little kind of extended a little bit. So it looks like this all together. So that is kind of the same tapping part that we did before, just with the open string. He's got to sing while he's doing that. It's pretty impressive. All right, so he does that 4 times, but then right after we've done it 4 times, we're going to extend it by going, which is over on the A string now. We're going to tap the 17th fret, pull off to the open A, and then hammer on that 12th fret on the A string. So it's a 3-note lick, or 3-note pattern that we repeat. So that taps at the 17 for now. So you start with the tap at the 17, and then just move the tap down to 15. And everything else stays the same. So, all right, then that's the end of the chorus. And then we get back to the main riff played 1 time. So it's kind of just like a transition riff. There's no vocals there, but when the vocals come back in for the 2nd verse, we're using that that riff that had what I was calling the pre-chorus earlier. All right, so. Well, we've seen that riff before, even though it's kind of used more of as a verse there than a pre-chorus. Then we get to the bridge section leading into the solo section. So the bridge section starts with these muted hits and then goes into this really cool kind of sliding riff, and then it takes us into the solo rhythm. So let me play this whole section starting with the muted hits all the way up until we get to the solo. So it looks like this. Into the solo part. So the muted hits, you can kind of feel them as like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 1, 2. Then he kind of starts the 3s again, but kind of on an upstroke. So we're kind of like doing this. So that's how I'm kind of thinking about it. So I'm just going down, up, down, up, down, kind of accenting the, feeling it as a group of 3. And then after you've done that 1, 2, dun, 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 there's a couple of down, down, a quick little double down in there. So we have this little kind of thing like this. And then after you do that double down, then you start those 3s again, but start it with an upstroke. So kind of like this. And you just do 3 groups of 3 there, and it takes you to the actual riff. All right, so this riff is cool. It sounds like it's really heavily palm muted. First fret on the low E string, open A and open D. Kind of get that really dissonant sound. So we have that going on first, 2 hits of that, and heavily palm muted, and then kind of come up to the 10th fret and just start sliding down the string while you kind of pick it as you go down. So you kind of work your way back down to hitting that same chord again twice. So you do that, you start with the 2 hits, just slide down from the 10th fret while you're picking, and kind of palm muted as well. And you're going to do that whole thing 4 times. But that was kind of pretty palm muted, I guess. So after that 4th slide down, you can just hit kind of like the top 4 strings open, let them ring. And then leading right into the solo section, we have some harmonics. You can start them at the 5th fret there on the A string. And just kind of just that straight, like down, up, and we're just kind of glide your finger down towards the headstock as you go. So starting at the 5th fret harmonic on the A string. And that's kind of how he's taking us into the solo. So now before we do Joe's the one that plays the solo, I'll show you Christian's rhythm guitar part. So it looks like this. All right, so it's kind of basically like that. So we're going to start here at the 3rd fret here on the A string, and then go up to 6, then 5. So just keeping that consistent, down, up, kind of nice palm muted. Again. One more time. Now after the 3rd time there, he kind of holds that, and it sounds like he adds the 5th on top of it too, kind of. So you pick it, then same strumming, but across the 5th fret there on the A and the 7th on the D. And then he starts over, everything does the same thing again. And then that chord again. And then he takes everything a little bit lower. So it's just kind of that 3rd fret on the low E string, down to 1, then back to 3, and you're going to go up to 5, back to 1. So a little, do that in there. Then back to 3 and 1 again. So 3, 1, 3, 5, 1, 3, 1. power chord again. You can kind of bend it up at the end of that solo when it goes into that bend. So let me go ahead and play you Joe's solo. He's using pick tapping throughout. So he kind of does it slower in the beginning, first half, and then he really speeds it up at the end. So looks like this. All right, so that's going to start here with the, you're going to be tapping with the edge of your pick there on the 15th fret there, the G, while you're holding the 12th fret on the G. So you're going to always be tapping here and pulling off to that 12. So it's kind of... So we do that tap from 15, then move the tap down to 14. And then take the note, change the note on the G string that you're playing with on the G string down to the 10. So this. All right, and then we kind of do the same thing. There's a little added melody there, so you're just going from, you kind of holding that 12 again. 15, you tapping 15, 14, 15, 14, and then keep it on that 14 and change the note to the 10th fret there on the G again. So we have this so far. Then we play the melody like we did the first time. And then you're going to kind of extend it here. So this was just like the first time, just that 15 straight down to 14, and then change the note on that you're playing with your left hand. And then keep tapping that 14th fret on the G, but move the note down to the 7th fret there on the G string. So all together. Then you just repeat that exact same thing one more time. So then we go into really what's trill tapping. So you're gonna, you hear this done a lot when you do hear pick tapping. A lot of it's always kind of trill tapping, where he's holding a note in the fret hand, but then he's kind of trilling on it. So it almost requires you to be pretty tense in your hand to hold it, and just like, it's almost just like you're vibrating your hand, almost like you get the chills or something. That's pretty much what you're doing. So the note he's doing, he's up here on the high E string, so he's gonna be tapping 18, 17. So he's gonna hold, first of all, 15 in the fret hand. So he's gonna tap 18, and that's always gonna be pulling off to the 15. Just kind of trill tap it. And we're just going straight down and straight up. You don't have to, since you're not using your finger, you don't have to flick it up or down. Just come straight back up and just get it bouncing. And then he changes the note on the that you're tapping down to 17, and then move the note down to 13th fret there in the fret hand while keeping on the 17 here. So with this. Then come back up here to the 15th fret here with this fret hand, but then the tap will be kind of that 18, tap up to 20th fret, and then when you go back down to 17, you're going to move down to 13 in the fret hand as well. So all together. And then And then you're gonna go back and play it the way we did it the first time through, which is just tapping, holding at the 15th fret, tapping 18 down to 17, and then as you're tapping 17, move down to the 13th fret there in the fret hand. And then like we did in the lower part, you're gonna then hold this and take this down to the 10th fret here. So, and then you start hearing him kind of do a slight bend as he holds that note. Still tapping the 17th fret. All right, now that's coming out of that, we go back into the chorus. It's just a very, very unique song, just so well done too. It just absolutely rocks and very melodic. So it's the same chorus that we just did earlier, so with that kind of extended tapping. So. All right, and then from there we get to the ending of the song, which is kind of a variation on the main riff. So it looks like this. All right, so the first time of playing that riff at the end of the song is the same way that we played it in the intro. And then the second time is where they add the variation to end the song. So we're gonna start it the same way. But after this third time of going to the F to the E, we're gonna play this a little bit different. The little chromatic lines are gonna change, and they're gonna extend it. So we have this F to E, and then the kind of, that 3, 2, 0, 1 is gonna happen 3 times. And then it's gonna move up here and go 5, 4, 3, 0. Then, starting 1 fret lower than that, 4, 3, 2, 0. And then back to the old reliable 3, 2, 1, 0. So we have this. And then we're gonna end it with 2 quick hits there again. So let me play that section a little bit slower for you, just starting right out of that the last chorus. All right, so that is about it for one killer. This is a fun song to play. It's got some really interesting riffs in it and tapping stuff, and just the riffs are just move along and just really, really rock. So probably going to end up being one of my new favorite bands. So I'm excited to take a listen to the rest of their discography, which is going to be a lot of fun for me. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you again soon for GuitarLessons365.com.